All right, today we're continuing our look at healthcare and how you can save money on healthcare. We're going to discuss people who do not have access to a group plan. They may be trying to find a policy on their own. So just like last night, joining us now to talk about it is Garth Hassel. He runs East Idaho Insurance in Idaho Falls. Now, people looking for their own policies. These might be independent contractors. Find a lot of those in the construction industry. So these days with the internet, when people are out there looking for a policy, you know, almost when we shop for anything, we go to the internet first. How can that help and how can that hinder someone looking for health insurance?
Well, it can help, in which case you can find what general types of insurance are available, who the carriers are. You can even go to the Department of Insurance site and see who the licensed carriers are. That's helpful. What's less helpful is the internet can give people a false sense of being informed. So, for example, people who bypass an agent and go right to one of these major quoting sites, and they see, hey, those quotes are great, and then they apply. Of course, they're underwritten. Well, few of us really qualify for those best case rates, and they get kind of frustrated when those rates come back a lot higher. And then you find out that those internet quoting sites, those insurance clearinghouses, will take their contact information and sell them as leads to other insurance agents who might not even live in Idaho. So if you really enjoy getting annoying phone calls and emails from people you don't know, go to those internet quoting sites.
Now, you have a website, though, and you offer, I guess, a similar service, but I imagine it's a lot more tailored to people in Idaho.
It's individualized, and you're only working with me in this case. So you're not going to get calls from anybody else, and we talk about that in the site, how to be prudent, and we don't sell anybody's information.
Good. Now, what's some of the coverage difference between someone who has access to a group policy or someone who may be out there trying to get their own policy?
Well, it is apples and oranges, and the coverage is quite a bit different. The group policies have the lower deductibles for major medical and prescriptions, and that's a big deal. Whereas on individual policies, the new healthcare reform took away caps on prescription coverage, and so insurance companies compensated with high deductibles. So you might have a $5,000 deductible for name brand prescriptions on individual insurance.
And I imagine all that will change in the months going forward depending on what happens with healthcare reform and how it's implemented or whether it's implemented at all.
Well, there's no free lunch. Someone's paying somewhere. And so either as an insurance pool, that pool is covering the costs, or the taxpayer is picking up the tab. Someone has to pay.
Now, one of the big things that people might look at is maternity coverage. So if you're out there on your own, how does maternity coverage differ from someone who's got a group policy?
Maternity on a group plan is covered like any other illness, whereas an individual in Idaho is a separate deductible, at least $5,000, maybe a lot more. Also, when an HSA, which is health savings account plans that are eligible for that benefit, they have no maternity coverage at all. So you need to talk to an agent about that. Now, this is where supplemental insurance is a real no-brainer, because supplemental hospitalization will pay towards that if you get it early enough. So newlyweds really have a lot of planning to do.
So supplemental insurance might be a better idea for someone who's on their own group policy. It can help fill in some of the gaps.
It's a great way to do that. It's a great way to bolster your coverage and also do it in a way that you probably don't have premiums that ever go up again.
Right. Now, we've talked for a couple of days about a lot of different things about insurance. What are some of the things that you tell people if they're looking to save money on their health care costs?
Be a wise consumer. For example, if you go to your doctor and you're kind of pushing your doctor to write your prescription for your ailment, your symptoms, and if you push him to do that, he has to back it up with a diagnosis. Those medical records are permanent, and those records could make it really hard for you to get affordable health insurance or life or disability insurance down the road. And on the flip side of that is, if your doctor is trying to push prescriptions on you, now this is insurance advice, not medical advice.
Right.
Okay. If he's trying to push those prescriptions on you, I would suggest seeking another physician.
Right. It's interesting that you bring up the diagnosis, because I can remember talking to my doctor about my son and asthma, and he said, let's hold off on that diagnosis just because we don't want to say that this toddler has asthma right now and saddle him with that for the rest of his life.
That's wise.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, well, Garth, we appreciate the information and appreciate you helping us out. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about insurance and those people who have Medicare and how they can save a little bit of money.